Previously on Dream House. Disaster struck during a major concrete pour.
The form's busted.
And the winemaking got off to a rough start.
I don't know, I just heard something crack.
Now it's time to erect the huge timber frame.
I had no idea it was going to be that impressive.
It just looks majestic.
But raising the 300-pound beams becomes a battle against the weather.
It's probably 227,000 laying out here in the rain.
And time is running out.
When are we getting in there? This baby is coming now.
We woke up this morning and we were all excited and we heard, heard the rain falling off the roof. We said, oh no way is it raining right now.
4 months after breaking ground.
It's here, it's happening, and it's so cool.
Stephen and Shannon's dream house in Northern Virginia is about to take a huge step forward.
It's a lot of stuff.
The beams for their timber frame home have finally arrived.
So this is the front door. We'll be right here.
These massive 300-pound beams are the framework for the Mackeys' combined home and wine tasting venue for their new vineyard.
It's definitely a unique situation, especially because we'll be living downstairs in the basement, and then you've got the whole business upstairs.
This is when it starts to soar to the sky.
The framework for the 4,300-square-foot home has already been pre-built by a team of master craftsmen in Pennsylvania. The massive wood beams will be held together with wooden pegs to create an open, rustic structure.
This section is actually the main part of the great room.
See, I want to know how tall it is.
We've never had anyone do this, by the way. This is a
See, now that feels real.
I mean, these things last centuries if they're well taken care of.
Just looking at it just confirms it feels like our house is a work of art. I mean, it is. It is beautiful.
And 50% more expensive than conventional framing. But the unique look will hopefully bring in more business to the winery.
You will be able to walk up to them and touch them and feel them and be like, wow, this is what's holding this place up.
And now, the 30-foot structure will be erected on site.
It's just going to be amazing once it starts going up.
And the entire frame will go up in just 5 days.
Once we get started, you'll see it all goes together like clockwork.
That is, if the weather holds.
For such a nasty day outside right now, it doesn't seem to be affecting them at all, which is good.
But assembling the 30-foot frame is still very dangerous work.
It can be very dangerous as high as they're going to be going. They're going to be going 30 feet in the air.
And the massive structure must go up without using a single nail. The entire frame is held together with pre-cut joints and wooden pegs.
It all has numbering and labels on it, so every piece has its home.
The things that I've been nervous about all along are keeping the crew safe, making sure it gets put together properly, making sure that we're getting our money's worth for what we're paying. It is a lot of money, and we expect it to be right. We really want it to be right, but it's slippery out here. You don't want the guys to be climbing the scaffolding and someone to get hurt. It's probably 227,000 laying out here in the rain.
Of course, now it's going to be me getting anxious. I'll be like, when are we getting in there? This baby is coming now.
Their second baby is due in just 4 months.
Found out we have another little boy coming, so Tristan's gonna have a little brother, 18 months apart.
And their tiny 1-bedroom rental will be more cramped than ever.
Stuff is just piling up and piling up.
We are just cramped.
It's just how it's going to be until this house is done.
And despite the rain, the first frame is up.
It's only 5 guys, but you would think that 30 people came out here, It's like...
And the next morning...
Yay! It's getting better and better.
The rain has moved on.
No matter how many times you picture it in your head, it just doesn't prepare you for this.
It's taken 4 years to get here.
It is stunning.
This view, we've been waiting on this view for a long time.
I had no idea it was gonna just be that impressive.
It just looks majestic.
It is majestic.
And that whole wall is just gonna be windows just looking out over the vineyard.
The crew is making quick progress. Until...
When I saw him sitting up there, I said to myself, I said, that's not right.
there's trouble 30 feet above the ground.
He's not supposed to be sitting up there with a chisel.
One of the timbers wasn't cut to fit with the rest.
As in any project that comes along, there's always some oops and some boo-boos.
I think the funny part is it had to be the very highest joint, in the whole frame.
It takes more than an hour of high-altitude chiseling to fix the problem. And by the end of the day, 2 more frames are raised.
It's shocking how much they've done in a day. It's just amazing.
Seeing this happen is the ultimate milestone. It's proof that we can do anything we set our minds to, and there is nothing that's going to stop us now. No way.
But weather problems shut down construction.
The frame won't go up today unless the weather improves drastically.
And the budget is about to take a major blow.
If you're going to go $4,000 over on something, you want it to be something glamorous, not a pump in the septic tank.
After 2 days of timber framing, the first 3 massive frames of the Mackey's dream house are up.
The first time we saw it laying on the floor, just the perspective of it laying down, it looked very small.
I did not think I could walk underneath these beams. I'm like, guys, you're gonna have to put it up on something, or
Shannon wanted the thing on stilts.
I really don't want to bump my head in my new house, and I thought that's what was gonna happen.
The whole vibe behind the timber frame is that loftiness and that feeling of strength and height, and it's just there.
Now there's just 3 days left to finish the job, and 2 massive frames left to erect.
They're expecting heavier rain to come in this afternoon.
And rain could shut down everything.
The frame won't go up today unless the weather improves drastically.
I don't know if I would call it a rain delay, but I would definitely call it a rain shift of plans.
With the new baby due in just 4 months,
Natalie is getting bigger.
there's no time for delays.
I would love to be in the house by February because the baby's coming sometime in January. Most likely, I'm thinking it'll be April, but I would really like February.
The crew can't afford to lose the day either.
We'll always have to have Plan B to stay on schedule.
And Plan B is building the dormers that will be flown into place when the frame is finished.
They basically just built an assembly line down there to keep moving.
And by mid-morning, the rain lets up enough to resume framing.
Come down, watch your fingers.
I worry about the weather a little bit from a structural standpoint. I mean, water soaking all the joints. Is it going to swell the wood?
They're kiln dried, so they swell. Same with the pegs. The timbers take on moisture, the pegs take on moisture. It's harder to get them to go together.
They beat the rain and erect 1 more frame before dark.
And we got to the 4th bent complete, and which leaves bent 5 tomorrow.
It's just so gorgeous, every piece of it. You don't want it to be hidden. And right now, that's gonna be hidden by a fridge. And I'm like, oh, maybe get a smaller fridge or something.
There's just 1 more frame to go.
We're going to finish tomorrow, weather permitting.
My vocabulary is not broad enough to keep coming up with the words. It's just that perfect.
And the The best is yet to come.
That's awesome.
That beam right there will be one of the defining features in that room.
But the pace is becoming unbearable.
We're either taking care of babies, at work, in the vineyard, or working on the house.
Days after the timber framing crew arrived, the last section of frame is finally flown into place.
We were able to finish the frame today. The weather cooperated nicely for us.
I'm gonna pick one of these posts and stand Tristan against it and put Mark. And then every birthday, working his way up. We're gonna do that for every kid. To say that it doesn't disappoint just doesn't do it justice. It's inspiring to stand underneath it.
But 4 months into the project, the pressures of work, family, the vineyard, and the dream are finally taking a toll.
We're either taking care of babies, at work, in the vineyard, or working on the house. That's pretty much all that we're capable of doing right now. We're just so strung out right now, but we wake up every morning and we just can't wait to get over here.
The first big payoff is about to come.
Chuck, come on in, sign your name. This is the last timber in this great timber frame.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Pleasure.
I saw the guy signing that ridge beam, and I was so proud of them.
All the men who are here working on the project will sign the last timbers. In the next 100, 200 years, that roof might be replaced, and they'll take off the old roof and see our signatures right there.
It might be the biggest milestone short of finishing the house. The fact that we were able to be here and watch that last piece go in is just huge. We'll remember it forever.
It's just amazing to see something, I don't know, be born almost, you know, because it's just, we've had it in our minds, we've had it on paper for so long, and now it's here.
And there's just one last peg left to hold it all together.
When we went to hammer in the last peg, I just realized that we needed to sign it.
Okay. There. Yay!
And with the frame complete, the traditional pine bough can finally go up.
We are saying thank you for all those trees that were harvested for this particular project, and good luck.
That's pretty cool, paying homage to the forest like that.
And the best is yet to come.
Yay! Oh my God. That's awesome.
This is Stephen and Shannon's first look at the timber that's been hand-carved with their vineyard's name and logo.
That's so much better than I ever expected that was going to turn out.
That was a special moment. I mean, the entire frame itself is a work of art, but to have a work of art embedded in that.
The name Notaviva means music of life, and the beam will frame the view overlooking the vineyard.
That beam right there will be one of the defining features of the experience in that room. And to think of the thousands of people that are going to take a picture under there and take that little piece of that with them.
Well, we better make some wine now, because now it's in the wood.
We want people from all walks of life to be able to walk through the front doors and enjoy the structure, and we want it to be a special place for everybody that visits it.
That's awesome.
Welcome to Notaviva Vineyards.
Yay! Say yay, Tristan!
Hey. Wouldn't have been possible to do just by ourselves.
We spent a lot of time apart trying to make this happen, because we're just putting everything we've got into it.
this structure is going to be here for hundreds of years, and to know that we're the people that made it happen, I mean, is very humbling.
But the cost of progress is skyrocketing.
I would say overall, we're maybe $12,000 over budget. Those things will add up really fast.
And now the dream is in jeopardy.
We're still over 2 months behind where we thought we were going to be.
Day 129 of construction at Stephen and Shannon's wine tasting venue and family home.
Drawings never do it justice, you know, until you're standing here looking at it.
And the timber framing is finished.
To see it coming together in real life, it's fantastic. I mean, it's surpassing everything that we had imagined.
But there's only 1 week to close it all in with walls and a roof.
Oh man, I love this ceiling.
Now you get a real good sense of what it's going to look like.
One of the things that I was really, really excited to see come together was the ceiling.
Ready, Josh? All right.
The rooftop dormers are being flown into place.
1,000 pounds. This isn't for a weak heart.
Things are really starting to heat up. The windows are fantastic. I just can't wait to see the glass go in, because we picked what's called the prairie style so that we wouldn't have a lot of panes in the way of the view. So it's going to just be huge expanses of glass with an unobstructed view out over the pond and the vineyard.
I like having all the light at the end. I'm always nervous about not having enough light, but I think we're going to be okay. With that much glass at the end, I think we'll be okay.
But it's not all good news. There's a problem with the septic system.
The tank is physically higher than the drain field, but there's a low spot in the field between the tank and the drain field. So what happened is that the pipe was going to have to go down and then back up. So in a strict gravity flow system, it wasn't going to work. It wasn't big enough to support all of the bathrooms, and certainly not a tasting room with events and crowds.
The solution is going to be costly.
You can either run the pipe straight and then have to build the ground up to it, or he said you can put in a pump. But either solution was $4 grand, so we went with the pump.
But the pump was not in the budget.
There goes that fun tub we were looking at last night.
Yeah, there goes the fun tub we were looking at last night.
Yeah, so that's gone. We just had bad luck, I think.
That was very uncool. Because if you're going to go $4,000 over on something, you want it to be something glamorous that you get to look at.
Exactly.
Not a pump in the septic tank.
And now the budget is blown.
I would say overall we're maybe $12,000 over budget so far. So those things will add up really fast.
The schedule is in even worse shape.
We're still over 2 months behind where we thought we were going to be.
And the baby's less than 4 months away.
I'm getting exhausted, and I see my time clock is no longer, well, it is when's the house going to be finished, but it's more of the baby's coming, when's the house going to be finished.
And getting the dormers to fit on the roof properly is taking longer than anyone expected.
We struggled a little bit on this dormer out here, getting the first one of 8 that we have to do. We get a little frustrated when things don't work out for us.
And the dormers have to be done before the crane leaves in just 3 days.
Today wasn't as a productive day as we've had up to this point.
Worst case scenario, we just don't get them done. We have to hustle tomorrow. We may extend into Saturday.
3 days later, it's still a struggle to get the dormers to fit.
We thought we had all the kinks worked out.
I think that their schedule fell behind a little bit because the dormers are taking a lot of time.
There's a learning curve with these dormers because we haven't done these dormers probably for a couple of years. So the guys have never seen it before. It's like a double learning curve for them. I don't understand why it's doing that. I don't get it. Today I was a little frustrated with the pace. Hit it! It's hitting that 2x4. It's hitting 2x4. I knew it was hitting something.
This time, there's a roofing board in the way.
Give me a hand saw before I lose my mind. Right there, it's hitting. Don't believe you guys didn't see this was hitting on here. That's good. perfect right there. Let me see, 1 hour crane time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 man hours for a little block of wood.
Finally, success.
Seeing the progress is a huge boost.
Getting all 8 of those dormers on, that was a major accomplishment for us.
The dormers are fantastic.
And the dream house is now closed in with roof and walls.
Now it looks like a house.
Oh, I love it. I mean, you really get a sense of what it's going to feel like in here now.
It's just inspiring. It's awesome.
But construction is still way behind schedule.
We had hoped to be able to move in February. It's probably going to be April until we're able to get in here. So we still have a long, long way to go.
We look at the calendar coming up for the next couple of months, and it's just non-stop.
To save $100,000 in construction costs, Steve and Shannon are going to start doing the inside work themselves.
October is just a mess, and that's probably when some of my home building tasks are going to hit. I'm going to need to be coordinating with Ron and the electrician to make sure that I'm not holding anybody up. Just scheduling and just trying to figure out how to make it all work. I mean, there are going to be nights. I'll just be pulling all-nighters out here.
The vineyard still needs attention.
There's still a lot of work to be. I mean, there's some spraying that has to be done, end-of-year spraying.
There's a lot to do in a short amount of time.
It's going to be pressure and frustration, and plus the baby's coming, which is huge. I don't want to be in that small shack with the baby and trying to figure out. I mean, already I'm like, where in the world are we going to put the cradle? We're going to do this, we're going to do that.
There's just no room. We're just running on adrenaline now.
Next time on Dream House, sweat equity turns frustrating.
That felt bad.
And bloody.
I just stuck that in my knee.
There's a major mess up inside.
It's got to come down.
It's going to be a bit of a pain.
The vineyard needs immediate attention.
Once the vines are growing, you can't exactly tell them to wait.
The budget is reeling.
We're like 30 grand over budget already.
Everything takes longer, everything's more expensive.
And the pressure to finish is becoming too much to handle.
I really didn't feel like spending my 2 months maternity leave cramped up in this house because I'm going to go bonkers.
That's next time on Dream House.